Alright fellas, here we're back with my Pokemon Masters video, and tomorrow we're going to begin the release of Arezu and his Hisuian Lilligant. Yes, we will be summoning. We are a big Arezu fan here. Okay, so Arezu, just to get it out for the people who are just here like, you know, should I summon for this character? Anniversary's up still, so like go for your Gloria, your Red, your Eriott, your Volo. Volo's up for majority of the month anyway, so you know you should be going for those characters. I think Arezu is a good character, definitely to go for, but I think she's definitely not a character that has too much value, assuming you have other good grass options like Palatine's Erica, right? Very strong character who fulfills a pretty similar role, not like exact same, but very similar. I mean, also Palatine's Marley, really good too. If you want to go for like physical grass options, I think we struggle a little bit more, if I remember right, for physical grass options. They're not that good. Yeah, let's get this guy as a support, but still, it'd be funny. We do have like this Hop, right? Physical grass kind of sucks now that I look at it. Like, I really didn't think about it, but physical grass really just kind of sucks. Which I guess Arezu does provide a niche for, because she does have Seed Bomb as a damaging option. So, yeah, anyway, I mean, Arezu, good grass option. Definitely don't really need her, though. Anyway, looking at her stats here at level 180 at 6-star EX, she's got 871 HP, 500 attack and special attack. Very good. 262 defense and 261 special defense. Not bad really at all. 462 speed, pretty good gauge managing stuff there as well. With the EX rule invested, her offense is up to 540. Speed stays the same. I forgot. Yeah, okay. This is an HP. It is HP. Okay, so offense is an HP for strike. 931 HP. I mean, that's good. She's got nearly 1,000 HP at level 200, 580 in both offenses at level 200, and 280-ish in both defenses, and almost 500 speed. So, good stats all around. She can definitely do some hard hitting just off the stats alone. I would say one of her more struggles is probably these base stats, which I guess is made better given that she can undergo Super Awakening, but yeah, whatever. And looking at that, yeah, this character. She's also got access to Leaf Storm, and then, like, what, 4 times the power? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's why Eric is probably going to be a bit more consistent of a better damage dealer. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, for her damage options, she does have Leaf Storm and Seed Bomb. By the way, she will be an EX Pokefair character, meaning you will have... It's basically a Pokefair banner, but it's got other returning Pokefairs on it that does not butcher her rates. So keep that in mind when summoning for her. But anyway, Leaf Storm and Seed Bomb as her damaging options, which at 1 out of 5, 136 power, 100 power right there, 5 out of 5, 163, and 120. Super Awakening, those go up a good bit. I mean, that's a pretty substantial jump for both options once you're at 4 out of 5, which I believe is where you get your final power buff on your moves. They're not really crazy moves here at all, but she has other things in her grid to make them a little bit better. Kind of like how Clara has options for her, like Sludge Bomb and Poison Jab and stuff. But anyway, I think, is it Poison Jab? I don't remember. She's got Splendid Victory Dance. This is a one-use buddy move, which just raises her offenses and defense and speed by 6. So no special defense buffs here for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter. It's activated whenever the sync buff of the user's team is 0, and deactivated when it is 1 or more. So you have to use this basically before your team gets their sync move off. Otherwise, you're not going to get its effects, which is not really that big of a deal. She's going to want to use this pretty much turn 1 anyway to get her offensive buffs in. Speed stuff for gauge, defense for bulk, not too bad. Definitely not a bad move. It basically acts as a trainer move. And it's a good way for them to get in Hisuian Lilligant's signature move. Anyway, just thought this up as a one-use trainer move, which reduces sync countdown by 2, which is good because she is a sprint character, so it's going to help with that sync acceleration. And she's got physical move up next increases by 10 whenever she has her physical moves up next raised, and same thing for special moves up next. Whenever it is raised, it'll be buffed by 10. So this is a great way for her to be able to hit very hard on these next 2 actions whenever you actually have these effects up, and of course if you want sync countdown as well, this can be very good. She's got Bold and Strong Hairstylist Pedal Dance, which is her sync move. It does more damage the more her speed is raised, which of course, given she can max her speed right here, not going to be too hard to activate. And of course with the Strike EX roll, that will be turned AoE, and of course offenses go up, all that good stuff. So not a bad base kit here for some damage. That mainly her main, well, it is her main goal. Okay, so she comes with 4 innate passive skills here, and also her lucky skill. Is this it? No, that I guess this would be it. Super duper effective 3 sucks, bro. Just run crit strike. There's no grass weak content she's gonna struggle against anyway. Whatever. So, being a new EX Pokefair, she is going to have this new passive called Rush. Rush. Why am I stuttering so bad? A Rush passive, which is based off of the user's region, and other characters have it. Mai has it, as well as Perrin having Paldea Rush. So keep this in mind when looking at these characters. All these EX Pokefairs are going to be having an ability like this, which what it does is it reduces sync countdown by 1 on entry. When using co-op, it reduces the user's sync countdown by 1 the first time your team enters a battle, each battle instead. And the more allied sync pairs with the Sinnoh theme on your team, the greater the reduction effect is. Each additional sync pair increases the reduction by 1 for a max of 3, and the effects do not stack if you have more than one character with the passive skill of the same name. Yeah, okay, so like Mai and Arezu having the same name ability here, both having Sinnoh Rush, means they will not activate simultaneously. You'll just get the one. So more Sinnoh characters you run, the more sync countdown you get. I don't think that's terrible, but I really don't think it could. I think it could be impactful for some fights and definitely helpful, but I don't think it's that crazy of an extra passive slot. But it is not terrible either, given that one of her better partners to run alongside her would probably be wherever he is. Adamant, right? They're both, I mean, Diamond Clan, grass types, they both work together basically just off of that. She adds some Adamant's master passive. He gives rebuff to the team. They both do sync acceleration, both with Adamant's Sprinty X roll and trainer move. She does the sync countdown with this, her own trainer move, and the sync the Sprinty X, sprint roll as well. So there's some synergy for sure with her being able to use this with other Sinnoh characters. Though granted, you know, you run your most optimal grass setup, you're probably running Carmine as a support who's not going to help proc it. I don't even know what your best third option would be. Palatine's Erica, maybe? You know, something like that. You know, you're not going to really be seeing the entirety of this passive, but -1 sync countdown on entry can still be good, especially given you can combine it with this, which I wouldn't do because you don't really want to waste these effects for some sync countdown, most usually, but you definitely could. Anyway, Dance of Yellow Tones applies the physical move break to the target when its physical attack move is successful, and applies special move break to the target when the user's special attack move is successful against it. Only one of these effects can activate once per battle. This is annoying to me. I didn't really notice. I didn't really notice this at first. But it's good that she can activate physical and special move break, right? But it seems she can only activate one of them. So, you know, you use your physical attack, you get the physical move break, you can never get the special move break, and you can only get that physical move break once, right? And the bad part about that is you can't really choose which one you want to get and try and prolong it, because you've pretty much only got one use of this, and then you have to pretty much attack, unless you want to waste the utilization of this. So it's going to be pretty early in the fight that you're going to have that physical or special move break activated, and well, that could hinder your damage later on in the fight, right? So, but the good thing is that having both, you can select which one you want. So in the most obvious case of recent content, we have the Paseo Towers, which some stages can be physical only or special only, so she can make use of whichever to be able to actually do better physical or special damage. So in its own right, this is a good ability. And then she's got Dance of Green Tones, which is, oh my gosh, physical hit, defense down, physical hit, physical boost 3, special hit, special defense down, and special hit, special boost 3. So whenever she's hitting with her physical attack, she debuffs enemy defense by 2, and she buffs her physical moves up next by 3. And whenever she hits with a special move, she debuffs enemy special defense by 2 and buffs her special move up next by 3. So this is how you can get the extra procs of this, and this is also how she can hit significantly harder than what she looks like, given that these moves are not too powerful in their own right. Pretty much +3 physical and special move up next every turn, and of course that also does combine with the break effect break effect right here. And of course you can also stack those up. So you want to go for like 3 seed bombs. Well, now you've got a +9 special move up next Leaf Storm available to you, which I think that's going to be seeing the most value in stages like floor 30 or the higher up floors of the Paseo Tower that don't limit you to physical or special damage, so you know, the ones that have status conditions, or just any harder content like ultimate battles, and like extreme battles and stuff like that. So you're going to get some pretty good usage of this. The debuffs are also nice. This is some good some good damage enhancement for your whole team. I mean, you know, any character here is going to really benefit from that. Like Palatine's Erica is probably the bigger example. Actually no, she does her own special defense debuffing, so not really for not necessarily her, but any other grass characters you tend to bring that aren't too capable of debuffing stats, which granted, now that I'm looking at it, a lot of them are. I mean, Palatine's Erica debuff special defense. Doesn't Marley? Yeah, Marley's got honor roll 2 here to debuff special defense. Mixed red debuff special defense. Adamant debuffs defense, but I guess he doesn't do it all the way unless you have enfeeble. But anyway, whatever. It's getting off track. But you can also deactivate some enemy gimmicks with these defense debuffs, and also you can deactivate some gimmicks with this, but mostly to a lesser extent, given it's very temporary. So just keep that in mind though. But yeah, this is pretty good. And then she's also got this impervious for stat debuff immunity, which is very good given the amount of stats she can buff on her own, and this makes sure that her speed stays raised for her sync move. But she also has guaranteed crits on her moves and sync moves, so you do not have to worry about buffing her crit or worrying about failed sync crits or anything like that. Very good for a character who may have a primary role to actually use their sync nuke. So at 1 out of 5, she doesn't really have much flappable here, and I would say that at base, her kit is definitely nothing like uber impressive. Obviously, the new shiny toy of physical and special move break is going to be quite enticing. I'm not the biggest fan of how they've been designing the current units, where I say that, but really the 3 anniversary units can choose. So honestly, I'm gonna kind of bite my tongue and say I don't really mind how they're kind of built with theirs, but I don't really like Arezu's build where she is pretty much forced into using her special and physical move break early, given that you're gonna start out with Victory Dance. You're probably not gonna want to use the trainer move later and sacrifice the moves up next, crazy moves up next enhancement that you get out of it later in the fight, but you're gonna be stuck with it pretty much turn 2 once you start using these moves here, unless you actually start building for sync countdown, which I guess if you do want to you don't want to make too much use of it, you could Victory Dance with Arezu, do nothing the next turn because this -1 sync countdown here is saving you, and then go for turn 3 and then sync with whatever character, right? You could do something like that, but I think that's kind of like my biggest issue with this character. And other than that, I don't think she's got too many flaws. I just don't think she's going to hit nearly as hard as you would want. She's got no multipliers, 100% sync multiplier, which is not bad, especially combined with the physical and special break here, but I don't think it's going to be too crazy either, especially given you may already have other invested options like Palatine's Erica, Palatine's Marley, Mixed Red, Adamant. I mean, these other solid options that can do some good grass damage. So just keep that in mind. I don't think she's too crazy, without her grid and stuff to help out. So if you are willing to invest in her, let's take a look at that. 2 out of 5, she's got Solar Shield here, Gobsmack, Natural Remedy, Trip Up 9, Trainer Move Hit and Heal, Seed Bomb Gauge Refresh, Leaf Storm Gauge Refresh, Trainer Move Ally Field Gauge Up 9, and Quick Cure. So Quick Cure, Natural Remedy, Solar Shield to an extent as well if you are running her in Sun, which again Adamant could do, or Signature de Acerola can do, whichever characters you can kind of combine her with, which by the way, Signature de Acerola is on her banner, so if you do want to pull and you have a chance to get Acerola, that could be good for building Arezu's damage a little bit better. But anyway, Natural Remedy, Quick Cure, and Solar Shield to an extent can all be used to negate status changes and status conditions, or at least get rid of them the first time they are activated. Those flinches can be annoying. Potential AoE sleep from those annoying ass enemies can be very annoying. Burn, it could be obviously terrible for doing less damage with Seed Bomb. So it's good to be able to get rid of some of those status conditions and status changes and stuff. Gobsmack 9, I think this is pretty decent. If you don't have Carmine, you're really struggling anyway with grass. Let's just say I heavily recommend Carmine, just to kind of put it mildly. But without Carmine, I guess you could use Arezu with Gobsmack in order to deactivate enemy gimmicks in the tower, where they want to be hit and have like a status condition or status change on some of the stages. Arezu can kind of supply that with this, but if you already have Carmine, she can already do that as well with the guaranteed burn, or not guaranteed burn, but the burn that she can do on Machikacha, right? So I just keep that in mind. And the gauge refresh abilities here, I don't think these are too terrible. Her speed's already pretty good, and her base speed stat is also good, so I don't think she's going to be struggling too much with gauge, but combine that with the trainer move allied gauge acceleration here, or team gauge acceleration, this could be quite nice, if you do need extra gauge stuff. Trip Up 9 for some speed debuffs, combine that with her defensive debuffs she can do right here, and she's, again, very competent at actually doing some debuffing, debuffing for deactivating enemy gimmicks like Fluid Fortification, or Morgan as an example. The speed doesn't really apply to that, but it is helpful regardless for characters that do need those extra debuffs applied to them to be able to be hit for damage. And then Trainer Move Hit and Heal here, giving you some extra gradual healing. Good in the legendary arenas, pretty good just in general, honestly, some extra gradual healing is nice. I wouldn't worry about her too much, given Carmine's already quite effective at making sure the team stays healthy, especially given she can do the extra tick with grassy terrain. Arezu, being a grass character, will benefit off of that as well. And, you know, combine that with this, and you can also get double healing, pretty much. Double tick healing, which could be quite effective. All right, moving on to 3 out of 5. She's got hit sync up 2, Leaf Storm hit special attack down, brain power, ramming speed, sync power up by 50, 2 plus 25 sync powered nodes, strong start 3, seed bomb hit attack down 2, and trainer move team free moves next. Okay. Another gauge thing, I don't think this is that crazy. I definitely would not recommend picking this up over so much other stuff in her grid. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. The gauge should not be a big problem for you, just being honest. She does have debuffing here with special attack and attack on Seed Bomb and Leaf Storm. This allows her pretty much to be able to debuff any core stat: defense, special attack, speed. So if you want to do a bunch of debuffing, Arezu really definitely can supply it. So these tiles are not terribly out of the way either for her to be able to pick up, especially in some cases where, like, legendary and souls, for example, you can pick up gradual healing right here on top of the attack speed, seed bomb hit, attack down stuff here as well. So you can get some very, very good debuffing out of this character to be able to hit pretty hard, given with the special move break, and then also debuff enemy offenses, which again could be good for other stages as well. A lot of ultimate battles with fluid fortification. Immediately coming to mind is Annabelle and Evelyn. I know there are more than that, I just cannot think of them, but like, it is good to have those abilities. And of course, like, Giovanni is a big one too, so good to have those debuffing abilities right there. She's got hit, sync up 2, and brain power. Reminder, she's already got innate inertia, so combining the brain power here for an extra multiplier and these extra sync tiles and the sync up here means that Arezu's actually going to have a very solid sync nuke, assuming you can kind of pick up everything here. 25, 25, 50. I mean, that alone is going to be putting her up to 320 power. Plus 2 sync move up next every time she uses her attack move. That means pretty much every sync cycle she's going to be having 4 to 6 sync move up next, which is an extra 40 to 60% damage on her sync move. And if you are that relatively early in the fight still, or still have this activated, you could have physical or well, I guess it would be special move break because she's a special attacker or special sync nuke, sync nuker. You'll be having a really good first sync with her if you do have that special move up next. Sorry, special move break still activated. Ramming speed here as well, giving some extra multipliers to these. Those move up next enhancements are of course really well, right here, really good, but it would be very good to have another multiplier. So ramming speed is quite effective for her, giving her some extra damage, given that we already know Leaf Storm and Seed Bomb are not the highest damaging moves, even under the extra move up next defensive debuffs that she can do here. And of course, you know, there's not going to be any guarantee this will remain up for a long portion of the fight, so it is good to have ramming speed here in order to help give her some extra damage. Then strong start 3, I don't think this is that crazy. I think this does allow for you to go for this a lot earlier on. So if you're in a fight that you know is going to be short, like ended within 2 sync cycles or something like that, picking up strong start 3, trainer move, buddy move, trainer move for the sync move, or the physical and special move up next. You know, sync with your support, get some sync acceleration in, sync with Arezu, get a ton of extra damage in on top of the, you know, plus 10 physical and special move up next boosted moves. You know, you could play around with that very, very well with stuff like this. Problem is, you're very unlikely to be able to pick up all of it, and that is pretty much the straight truth for this. It does suck. Grid energy is a massive issue that these characters do tend to face. I'm not really sure if you're going to be able to pick this up consistently. I would say kind of sticking around with stuff like this might just end up being better. I guess someone could try and quote me. Is 4 to 6 sync move up next better than this? I think it is. I'm pretty confident, but I do want to be fact checked there. So someone, that'd be great to do. Fact check whether the 50 extra sync power here is better than the sync move up next. Granted, that would also probably depend on if you pick up these tiles. So I don't know. Either way, I think something like this could be your best 3 out of 5 grid, and I do think after, you know, the ability to 3 out of 5 Arezu, she's going to look a lot better. I do definitely think that you should be investing in her other partners, notably Carmine. You know, whoever else, say what you want, Carmine is one you should be investing in. Palatine's Marley has a very good core alongside her as well, being able to apply the Sinnoh Circle, which is going to be directly buffing Arezu. Being both Sinnoh characters, you're going to be getting the double benefits of that. Also, with her being a Sinnoh character, you'll be able to activate more stuff from Arezu's Sinnoh Rush. That will be helpful too. And Marley's also just a generally good character to bring, just honestly, for a grass type in general. She's really solid. Just a lot of sync acceleration, very good synergy there. Sinnoh Circle, special move up next buffing, special defense debuffing. Arezu will benefit a lot under like Palatine's Marley, for example. And of course, there are other examples. Adaman, Mixed Red, not bad options either. Variety Hop's not terrible. Again, Palatine's Erica is really, really good. So there's a lot of good options for grass. I do think that you should be investing probably in Carmine as your support, though. Just as a sub option, we do have Sigma Sidus Arola. If we're looking at like the grass team as, you know, just specifically, we could also look at other types. I mean, you know, the new Anniversary Glory is going to be a nutty support for her. Pretty much doesn't really need to be said. Arcsuit Steven's not terrible either. I mean, he's the physical leaning, of course, but just a great unit just in general. So there's options. If you have any top tier support, she's going to benefit quite well off of them, especially given she's both physical and special, so she can kind of take either buff. Anyway, at 4 to 5 here, she gets first sync move team special move up next and first sync move team physical move up next. I don't think these are valuable tiles, and mostly for the fact that they're not affordable. I really wish they would do similar with these Poke Fair tiles as they did for Master Fair tiles, where these tiles are free, or at least I would prefer if they're heavily discounted. But oftentimes these tiles, 5 to 5s don't tend to be that bad, but man, these tiles just tend to be so expensive and lacking value. I don't want to say lacking value, because oftentimes they are really good, but already costing 10 energy, man, it can be annoying. Either way, I don't think either of these tiles are good, especially given what else she already wants to run. At 5 to 5, she gets hit physical and special move boost here. This could be good. This very well could be good. It's an extra multiplier basically to her for her Leaf Storm and Seed Bomb. She'll be able to build up the moves up next faster. That's +4 for each. Well, whichever one you use, right? That could be really good. It really could be extremely strong. That's not bad. I mean, that's not bad. Though, granted, what I said earlier, it doesn't really allow you to stack up stuff because you are hitting only one type, but still, either way, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be able to take up like 4 physical moves up next if you're using Seed Bomb, 4 special moves up next if you're hitting Leaf Storm. It's not bad. That can definitely help. I'm not sure how much that is actually increasing given diminishing returns of these move up next enhancements, but I would imagine it could be quite good for her overall DPS. And then Trainer Sync Redemption here, more sync countdown, more physical and specials up next. This could be valuable, especially given its solid positioning to already allow you to pick up like brain power and stuff. Probably still pretty expensive though. I mean, yeah. Kind of expected, but I mean, -4 there isn't definitely not bad. I could definitely see some very solid value in this, given the special and physical move up next buffs you can kind of stack up with this. Sorry, kind of stack up? Definitely stack up. I do like it. I do think overall, if we're looking at Arezu at just 5 out of 5 and no one intends to Super Awaken her, I definitely don't think she's worth going for, as opposed to like Palatine's Erica, where I'm not even sure if does Arezu even have a better cap than Palatine's Erica? I would say so. I mean, what are we looking at? Yeah, level 550, that's the same offense. I think a little bit better. Yeah, it's better. She's got like better offense. This can do like 500 damage, and using it every other turn with Leaf Storm. I think Arezu's real advantage is mostly the fact that her sync could probably hit hard. No, not even. She's got tech. Palatine's Erica has tech as their sync, doesn't she? So not even really. I mean, their sync is either gonna hit for like about the same, maybe Arezu a little bit harder because of the sync move up next she can stack up. But other than that, I mean, she's probably, yeah, she's pretty much just weaker than Palatine's Erica, unless you need physical damage, with which physical damage she can do really good. Just putting that out there. Now, where Arezu gets better than Palatine's Erica, so by the way, I mean, if you ever have Palatine's Erica, don't go for Arezu, unless you just like her, which is very valid, of course, but just kind of putting that out there. Looking at Super Awakening is where we start to like look in more directions. This puts her special attack up to 630, as well as her attack, over 1000 HP, over 300 defenses, 543 speed. The Super Awakening, of course, can do a lot for characters. It's going to make her quite effective for a lot more in damage. I would say this makes her DPS is priced still. I don't really think it's going to be better than Erica's, given that Erica can do a little bit of move up next buffing, but she can also do a 500 power buddy move every other turn. I think that's kind of what's making the difference there. But Arezu at 1 out of 5, or sorry, well, 1 out of 5 Super Awakening, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5 Super Awakening. She eventually gets up to over 200 power on Leaf Storm, as well as 280 base power on the Sync move, which with extra Sync buff stuff here is 330. I would say she probably starts hitting harder at this point, but that is obviously a lot of investment. And then at 10 out of 5, she gets her Super Awakening passive, which is Head Start 1, which can be good combined with Sinnoh Rush here. That's a lot of Sync countdown she can do. Debut Sinnoh Defensive Circle and Sinnoh Circle Extension. Would not really try and combine her with the new Anniversary Eriott. They do not really have any synergy, but you know, they both have Sinnoh Circle, I guess. I'm not too big on her having it on entry, but it's not that bad given she can do a lot of sync acceleration, so you can have it up for more important parts of the fight for damage purposes and of course damage reduction purposes. I wouldn't say it's better earlier on than later on for damage reduction, but whatever, it doesn't matter. She's got the 30% extension though, which can be helpful for your defensive Sinnoh Circle character, which could be like Fantina. I guess Summer Cynthia as well, if you do want to run her, which there is a little synergy given the Sinnoh Rush, but honestly, you're probably not really going to be running this character. She's not bad, and she can slot in relatively well, but I don't really think you need her. And also the funny part is that I think she does debut Circle. Yeah, she already does debut Sinnoh Defensive Circle, so let's keep all of that in mind as well. So the extension is nice for Arezu. Overall, I don't think this is a very impactful Super Awakening passive. I honestly don't, but I think the stats and stuff she gains is definitely helpful, especially for that extra physical damage she can do in the Grass Tower. That may be one of the bigger struggles for players, especially those that don't have Adamant or like mix, what's his face, Hop. You know, those type of characters. I mean, granted, you also can just have this Lyra. Anyway, whatever. Point is that Arezu is like a new option. She's got both physical and special attacks, and she can hit hard pretty easily off rip, just not better than like some of the top tier options, or like more worthwhile to get if you already have some of the top tier options. That's kind of my opinion on her. I definitely do think she's good though. She can slot in fine to a grass team and do quite well. Whether she's the best option or not, I think that's definitely going to depend on if she's Super Awakened or not. I don't really see her being better than Palatine's Erica without Super Awakening, and even with Super Awakening, I don't think it's really, you know, so far and way better that it just invalidates it. Like, if you've already got Palatine's Erica at 3 to 5, you're cooking. You don't really need a reason unless you are like actually terribly down bad for physical attackers, or Arezu herself, but that's not really the point. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end that video there. Great ending note. Yeah, but whatever. Point being that Arezu is good. She is good. She's definitely a good character to go for. Good kit. Good character to wait for. Finally, it took us so long to get more Hisuian stuff. I'm honestly, literally anything. Please, I would have taken friggin' Caliba at this point. I would have been happy with literally anything. But I'm glad we're getting Arezu, Mai, and of course Perrin. Not Hisui, but it's fine. That is fine too. Basically female Adamant, so it's fine with me. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Arezu. Go for her if you want. Don't go for her if you want. It's a good time to have a wind down month, and it's a good time to be able to go for the other anniversary units and not feel too guilty about it. So yeah, again, that's my thoughts. I'll see y'all later. I hope you all enjoyed. Peace.